Great. So hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Paige Finkelstein, and my job is to save lives. I was on the front line of COVID, and it's fun to actually be outside of the hospital now, outside of my scrubs. And thanks to my engineering degree from MIT, so anyone else sporting a brass rat today, I'm also in the business of creating solutions to help save lives, too. Today, I'm here to tell you about a company that does just that, and that is ERinfo. So when I worked as an EMT on MIT's ambulance and while in medical school at the University of Miami, I started to identify problems with unconscious or otherwise non-communicative victims. Non-communicative patients come to ERs over 1 million times per year. And during a mass casualty like a shooting, we've seen a lot of those lately, unfortunately, or someone at high risk of having an adverse medical event where they're supposed to be wearing one of these, less than 3% of patients who should be wearing these, it's a medical alert bracelet, do, making treating these patients an enormous and costly challenge for doctors. What's their history? What's their past what medications they take at home? Do they have any allergies? I'm there trying to provide treatment to someone, and I need to make sure that whatever I do, I don't cause more harm than good. Does anyone here have a loved one with a chronic condition, or have children, or have to take care of someone that they worry about? For me, it was the kids. And while working in trauma surgery, there were so many times where I had to take a child to the operating room, and I had no one to call. The kids don't carry wallets, they don't have phones, they're not wearing their medical alert bracelets, so it was extremely frustrating, and that's when I decided to do something about it. So, how exactly does ERinfo work then? Using ERinfo, all a first responder has to do is take a picture of the victim. Then, using our patented platform, ERinfo immediately retrieves life-saving information, including a patient's medical conditions, their allergies, their next of kin contact, and with a push of the button, that provider is able to actually contact whoever they have listed as their emergency contact. Honestly, it's hard to imagine treating a patient without having all this information at my fingertips, and now it is so incredibly easy to do so. It's so easy, I've basically had overwhelming people trying to get patients and enrolled onto our platform, and also firefighters, paramedics, doctors trying to get access to our platform as well. So ERinfo is the most innovative medical ID ever because we overcome the shortcomings of our competitors, which include the medical alert bracelets, ID cards, and mobile health apps. Currently, the people who need to use medical alerts don't use them because they require wearing jewelry, carrying that card, having that phone with you 24/7. With ERinfo, you need none of that. ERinfo empowers paramedics with a universal solution that is simple and affordable and is particularly beneficial for underserved populations. Globally, there's a large market opportunity for ERinfo, about $4.5 billion, because we capitalize on multiple revenue channels. With our existing channel strategies and geographic expansion plans, we believe that in 5 years, our serviceable obtainable market is about $250 million, from which we're forecasting approximately $60 million in revenue. I mentioned before that not knowing a patient's information costs a lot. And that's because earlier access to patient information reduces the number of diagnostic tests and consults, therefore lowering medical costs for patients as well as commercial and government insurers. This not only allows for cheaper care, but it's faster for patients, and for providers, it's less work and less risk, and allows me to provide the best, most efficient care. Because of the cost savings and improvement outcomes, insurance companies are extremely attractive to what we're building. Additionally, we have other group benefit providers, such as pharmacies and physician offices, looking to offer ERinfo for their populations because it helps drive employee and patient engagement in their digital health platforms. We've had so much traction so far. We're currently publishing 2 peer-reviewed studies on the use of ERinfo in the field, one of which is an IRB-reviewed clinical trial, and the results have been incredible. With ERinfo, the rates of patients getting the right continuity of care are truly unprecedented. Additionally, we are seeing cost savings in the thousands per patient who comes versus a patient who is medical history is unknown. Currently, we're in the process of recruiting thousands of firefighter paramedics onto the platform. We've already had hundreds of patients enroll, and we're working towards recruiting thousands more through our partnerships. In the next 12 months, we're continuing to build our infrastructure to support the demand of growing users and continuing to build our relationships. And with that, any questions?
Thank you for the presentation. I'd love to hear a little bit more about how the technology actually works.
Yeah, sure. So what we did was we built the platform. Facial recognition has been around for years. I was actually inspired to use facial recognition because it was actually at MIT in 2013, the Boston Marathon bombing happened, and they were employing facial recognition, and that's really where that technology started to pick off. And as I went through medical school and residency, I realized we need a more efficient method of identifying patients, and we couldn't use biometrics. You could use something that's really accessible. And we realized facial recognition was it. The technology's come far enough. So what we do is we plug in with the best API that's out there. Right now we use Amazon Web Services recognition. And should another better one come along, we're easily able to plug in that API. But what we do is we provide that platform, and we have almost 2.5 patents on how we work.
And what do those patents protect? Like, I guess I'd love to get a better sense of sort of what's proprietary.
It's our method, basically, of how we use the facial recognition technology.
Could you explain a little more about your revenue model and who's adopting and then paying for it?
Yeah, sure. So there's a couple of ways of how we get revenue. So for me, it was extremely important that providers use this app for free. This idea was born out of my own struggles and the struggles of my colleagues and fellow firefighters and paramedics. So the way we get revenue is either as a consumer, you can come directly to our website and enroll as if you were going to enroll in a medical alert bracelet. And the interesting thing is we're a fraction of the cost of buying one of these. This one actually cost me $30. We cost $2 per person per year. So it's a pretty frictionless price for a lot of people. Additionally, our big fish is being able to work with the insurance companies who cover 70 million people, 50 million people. And these are the companies that we're very close with right now. And being able to provide for $1 per patient, they're covering 70 million lives. We're able to, we've shown that we can save them thousands of dollars per person brought to the ER. So that's quid pro quo.
Big round of applause.